Welcome to Modern Domestics Bernette Virtual Machine Owner class. I'm Erica, and in part 7, you're going to learn how to sew a buttonhole. First, let's talk about the 4-step manual buttonhole, which is what the Sew and Go and the 33 models can do. You're going to set up your machine, and first I want to point out the stitches that you're going to look for to sew the buttonhole. You can see these labeled 1 through 4, and you'll notice it's 3 stitch patterns, and the one in the middle is for step 2 and step 4, so they share the same stitch. You're going to put your buttonhole foot on your machine. You're going to want to make sure that your tension is set between 3 and 5. And then you're going to turn your stitch selection dial to the step 1 buttonhole stitch, and you'll turn your stitch length dial between 0 and 1. So go ahead and turn your stitch dial to number 1 and change your stitch length. Mark the desired length of the buttonhole on your fabric and place your fabric under the foot with the buttonhole markings facing you. Make sure the slider on the foot is all the way towards you, and you're just going to sew forward until you reach the front marking of the buttonhole. Once you get there, you're going to stop sewing and you are going to select the step 2 buttonhole stitch. And then here you're going to sew about 5 stitches. And then you'll select step 3, and that's going to stitch back the other direction, and continue to sew until you reach the rear marking of the buttonhole. And then you're going to select step 4. And again, about 3 to 5 stitches here. And then you can select the straight stitch and put your stitch length at 0. This will allow you to sew several knots in place, securing your buttonhole stitches. Bernette's other models do an automatic buttonhole. Go ahead and start by choosing the buttonhole stitch, and then you're going to get your buttonhole foot, and you're going to place your button in the back of the foot. So you'll open up that slider and then adjust it so it's snug against the button. And then you'll put the buttonhole foot on your machine. And then you're going to place your fabric under your presser foot. You can lower your needle to bring your thread through. And then you're going to push the buttonhole lever all the way down and press it backwards slightly until it clicks into place. And then you'll just use the foot control to begin sewing. The buttonhole is sewn from the front of the presser foot to the back. To sew another buttonhole, you'll want to push the buttonhole lever backwards again. And then after sewing your last buttonhole, you can lift the buttonhole lever as far up as it will go and get that out of the way. Thanks for watching this video. In part 8, we're going to talk about cleaning and oiling your machine. See you then!